What's good? It's your boy Choco.
And your girl Galaxy, and we are CHOC Galaxy. What are we doing today?
Today we are doing Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, how strong is Sora? Kingdom Hearts. You know what I'm saying? I see Kingdom Hearts 3 for the first image. You know what I'm saying? Got my nominate hoodie on again. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Ghetto Kingdom Hearts is going to be linked. Y'all still sleeping on it. I don't know why, but hey, I'm not going to get into that.
Let's get right into it.
You know what I'm saying? Sheesh.
Hello everyone, it is your host, Seth the Programmer, and today we're going to be talking about how strong Sora from Kingdom Hearts really is. Now, for a series like Kingdom Hearts, a game centered around a kid with size 20 plus feet beating up emo anime characters in the darkness with a giant key, while accompanied by Goofy and Donald fucking Duck, it can be admitted at least that the main writer of the series, Tetsuya Nomura, at least tries to make a cohesive story and lore, even if certain aspects are argued by some people to fall apart, although personally I've always been a fan of most of it. And funnily enough, for a game so focused on the story and the characters, scaling and battles are quite prevalent in the series. They have characters blitzing each other, one-shotting each other, or even tanking attacks from characters weaker or slower than they are in cinematics, like some kind of crazy shonen Bleach anime battle. Examples being how badly Xemnas bullied Lee just after he trained for eternities with Merlin and Kairi, and unlocking his Keyblade finally, without Xemnas even using a blade himself, which is consistent with Xemnas being even stronger than a hypothetical full potential Roxas with the Keyblade, in the words of Nomura, let alone Lee. Or how Terra Xehanort absolutely bodied the rest of the cast with absolutely no difficulty, which was consistent with the idea that the Birth by Sleep cast was shown above what Sora had shown before Kingdom Hearts 3, as it was often described that the Birth by Sleep crew was designed to specifically show how a true Keyblade master would fight and handle their Keyblade.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best game, probably.
This alongside the fact that you can give the Lingering Will, the strongest enemy from Kingdom Hearts 2 lore-wise, you can give him a real body, Xehanort's mind, a massive
Can't believe I know
darkness,
so
and
much about
Xehanort's
Kingdom Hearts
superior
without ever
heart.
playing it.
It only makes sense that he would be slapping most of the characters in Kingdom Hearts 3. There's other examples as well, such as Roxas having 50% of Sora's power when he was awakened and so on, but I think that should be enough to get the point across. There's unironically consistent, or at least prevalent, power scaling in this series being utilized. And this is something that needs to be said in almost any video game lore/scaling video, is that the game does not always accurately represent the lore of the characters and their maximum capabilities. This is true for almost any game with crazy series of powers or lore. I went over this in my Kratos power scale, but basically, game directors aren't able to show the full craziness of the character and their abilities. For instance, Cory Barlog explained in an interview that Kratos struggling to open a chest or a door, or even being damaged by normal enemies despite being able to overpower the hand of the guy that's holding the whole world, or titans that embody time, is more so for gameplay concessions and to make the game have a certain flow. In example, you can also point to games like Dark Souls, where you fight these demonic dragons or gods, and then suddenly you see a random hollow with a torch and he says, "Bring that ass here," right? In a similar sense, Nomura has made a few concessions as well. One of the more famous ones being when he stated, and quote, "It is too hard to express some battles as playable content, hence why the Birth by Sleep secret ending in Kingdom Hearts 2 was a scene rather than gameplay," end quote. This directly makes a distinction between gameplay mechanics and the actual lore of what's happening. Many game directors I know tend to also agree that it is difficult. From here, it's important to go over just what the Kingdom Hearts verse is, what is its cosmology, and so on. There's two arguments you can go with here. One is that the worlds that you play in are planets in a sea full of stars, as described in the Kingdom Hearts 3 English Notebook. And
really
two is worlds are their own separate universes lined in a larger multiverse as stories, as world in Japanese, Sekai can mean the world, society, or the universe. arguments to suggest that they are their own universes, or at least cosmoses, or that each world has a very distinct sky system of stars, all of which look nothing like the world between, which is the space between worlds when you travel. Further evidence of this is that the Grand Councilwoman in the Lilo and Stitch Deep Space World at BBS, or Birth by Sleep, is stated to oversee the universe, even though their whole gang resides in its own world. It's also stated to be impossible to traverse between worlds without a Keyblade, and it's supposedly a butterfly effect if you break order. By explaining there are other worlds, if they're just planets, this would make absolutely no sense at all.
There's a lot going
Ericus
on.
had to unlock the lanes between worlds for anybody to even travel in Birth by Sleep. Once again, if these were just planets,
Like, it's hard
that'd
to
make
comment
no
'cause the
sense.
information's going
Zexion
by so
states that
fast.
he can't leave Hollow Bastion because he doesn't have the Corridors of Darkness, despite dummy ships easily having interstellar travel. And as I said before, the game originally was in Japanese, so whenever they say the wider world, or the world capitalized, they mean the wider multiverse, or all worlds. The real icing on the cake, however, is in Dream Drop Distance. Riku and gang talk about worlds, and Riku talks as if it's common knowledge that worlds have different flows of time and space, further cementing that these worlds are their own unique Disney stories with their own universes, rather than just planets all existing in exactly the same time space. Xehanort also hints at this as well in his journals, and it should be noted that parallel realms and even some worlds are often described as endless in size, such as the End of the World, which is the Heartless World, and the Realm of Darkness. Even Cinderella's world within the Realm of Darkness was conceivably endless in concept by Nomura, and it's also stated to have no time in said realm, and in which instances can last eternities. So, with all of those details out of the way, we can safely
Bro, when
begin
I fought
Sora.
that nigga, bro,
Now, Sora is a
Becky.
character that throughout the years has gone from being some twerp not worthy of his role to always surpassing the odds time and time again, and proving his heart and love for his friends was one of the most formidable in the verse. And while those friends might be his strength, they are also his weaknesses. A boy that simply wants to protect those around him with no sense of self-preservation.
You're so into
Someone who
it.
will sacrifice himself for others in a heartbeat over and over again. Whether it be by jumping
think?
head-on to face the Heartless,
That's how much you grown.
running in to save his friends with a stick on the ground when everything had forsaken him, destroying himself to save Kairi, or even being content sealing himself away in the Realm of Darkness to stop Xemnas. In Kingdom Hearts 3, the darkness was now an unstoppable force of nature. The organization was stronger and more prepared than ever before, and Sora was powerless to stop both and protect his friends. The darkness would rip Sora apart on a conceptual level, sending him to the final world to vanish. In a moment where Sora had never felt such a moment of despair and powerlessness, in a moment where his very existence was going to vanish forever, he pieces himself back together through the echoes of those that had passed, and those that were still in the Realm of Light, and immediately runs to destroy the Heartless Lich and save his
intense.
friends with his newly obtained power of waking. From here, I'll let Nomura explain himself what exactly that entails. The power of waking was originally the power to restore sleeping hearts, but to forcibly restore his friends' fading hearts, reality was overwritten by its influence and a singularity was born. Because of this overwriting, the time axis where they were completely annihilated was made so that it never happened. Meaning Sora sacrificed himself to rewrite the entire universe and possibly greater multiverse just to save his friends.
Damn.
But Sora wasn't finished yet. He still had to stop Xehanort, the organization, and the darkness. Sora, with his new resolve, powers through the organization and even receives help from alternate futures to stop the darkness that would have killed him before. But Xehanort was still in his way. Xehanort, a being who transcends time and space and has seen the endless worlds of the world, has acquired the X-Blade, or the Keyblade, a blade that is literally described as being forged between characters with higher dimensional powers, and with it he was going to reset the entire Kingdom Hearts verse back to zero. With the Guardians of Light, they're able to seal away Xehanort and Scala Kylum, and Sora, Goofy, and Donald fight against Xehanort with the powers of all Seekers of Darkness.
That was crazy, bro.
Sora eventually
That shit
cuts
was hard
through
as fuck.
all of them and even manages
Damn.
to defeat Xehanort in numerous one-on-ones
Very
until
intense,
it's time to
thick plot.
finally face the X-Blade. But eventually, Sora's friends save him this time, and they overpower Xehanort and save the verse from him. The Guardians of Light use their powers to travel to Scala Kylum and manage to suppress Kingdom Hearts with their light. At this point, Sora is a character that is considered a higher dimensional force that created the X-Blade, has fought beings that can destroy and recreate the entire Kingdom Hearts universe/multiverse, and can even rewrite said universe/multiverse while first learning how to use the power of waking. In terms of speed, he's able to fight characters in the realm of darkness, which is a realm with absolutely no time, meaning he somewhat breaks the speed formula of speed equals distance divided by time, since there is none. And some hearts can freely move through time and space to help others, and you'd think this would mean something to the community at large, that has all played these games, read their mangas, interviews, reports, guides, and so forth. Unfortunately, though, a lot of people still downplay what Sora is really capable of, even though it's very blatant from what I described. Some will say Sora can only be placed at maybe constellation levels, because characters like Zeus can change around the constellations with a wave of his hand in his world and so forth. But I always found this a little self-defeating. Not only is that a casual knockoff feat, this is also because by Kingdom Hearts 3, Zeus is considered a jobber, to the point that Sora, after losing all his powers from the Mark of Mastery exam in Dream Drop Distance, is the one that defeats Hades and his titans that bodied Olympus. This Sora is so weak that even Pete bullies him and says that he's out of his league. Pete! Yes, that Pete. Some people will try to say that the X-Blade is beyond anything else in the verse. However, this is untrue, as characters like Aqua have been stated to be able to shatter it with her D-Link before it was even starting to shatter from the Vanitas-Ventus battle. Xehanort losing with it, and so on. It wouldn't make much sense for Xehanort to lose or be even remotely affected by the cast with his higher dimensional Keyblade if they weren't at least in the same realm of power or order of magnitude. If he was infinitely stronger, it wouldn't make any sense. The power of the heart itself is often also overlooked. In the original Keyblade world, all of the light was destroyed, meaning all of the realm of light existence was destroyed. And the hearts of children hoping for the light to not fade recreated all the lights you see in Kingdom Hearts. It's kind of funny to consider that even the weakest characters in the series all have the potential to be absolutely insane, and this is also backed up by how most scientists, like Anson and Wise, who study the heart, state the heart has limitless potential beyond human comprehension that is simply hard to access the full potential of. It's even funnier with this scaling how almost every little shadow ant that Sora killed with the help of the future would unironically by themselves rip almost any shonen protagonist you could name to shreds on a conceptual level. Maybe that Woody versus Jiren meme was kind of going somewhere. Anyway, I really couldn't have done this video without the help of my translator Pygod, who read all 700 plus pages of the Kingdom Hearts 3 Ultimania and even ordered the original copies of the Kingdom Hearts 1 manga to make sure it didn't say multiverse like it does in the English versions, which they don't in Japanese, unfortunately. And the astronomical help with translating the Japanese version of the game as well in certain instances. I can't stress enough how grateful I am for this. Now, as I said earlier, Sora sacrificed himself to defeat Xehanort and the organization for good, and that means our little journey through a long-awaited extended childhood is over for now. But I do hope that you enjoyed this breakdown, and feel free to support the channel and like, and even subscribe if you did, or if you just like Kingdom Hearts, and as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day.
What'd you think of that?
Hey, very informal, you know what I'm saying? Very, very informal. You know what I'm saying? Anything about Kingdom Hearts I like hearing. I kind of didn't get to really check how, he didn't really explain a lot how strong Sora is. Like, he kind of did, but there was more parts he should like explain to it. But it was really good, it was really informational. The whole thing about the Keyblades and all the reports, like, because I got all the reports in the game on 3, but I never saw all of them. But like now, they actually made a lot of shit. I'm saying this game just has too much fucking characters to fucking keep up with, but shit, it's childhood and it's dope and it's a great story. To see Nomura, I'm saying he's a really great director because he really made my childhood, so I'm fucking with this shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good video, like it had a lot of information in it. I've never played Kingdom Hearts and I wanted to be supportive because, you know, he really loves Kingdom Hearts and stuff, so I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I kind of wish that it was a little bit more like accessible, because, you know, sometimes like there's YouTubers who do videos on things and it's like it's meant more for entertainment purposes than informational purposes. So I feel like this video as an informational video was really great, but it was a little bit too intense for me with the amount of information that I received. But it was very well put together, and you know, I have a lot of respect for the dedication that he showed and his translator showed. Like, that is honestly insane, and to do that all for one video was like really crazy. So I have a lot of respect for that.
Hey, like, share, subscribe. Go watch Ghetto Kingdom Hearts right now. We're gonna link it
Down below.
even right here. It's gonna be right here.
Okay.
It's gonna be right here.
Check out our main
Check out
channel.
Ghetto Kingdom Hearts right here. I'm gonna put it right here actually. I'm gonna put it right here. All right.
Go check it out.
All right.
Or he'll cry.
Yes. But anyway.
Bye.
Pretty little girl, pretty little girlfriend, pretty little girl, pretty little girlfriend, pretty little girl, pretty little girlfriend, girlfriend. I could